They said I didn't look like I belonged in that hallway. Said I looked lost, said I must have taken a wrong turn, and one guy actually laughed and asked if I was looking for the restroom. That was the first 30 seconds. And yeah, that's how this whole thing started. My name is Maya Reed, and the night this happened I was supposed to be invisible. That was the plan. Quiet arrival, quiet check, quiet exit. Just another face passing through an airport that never sleeps. Instead, I became the problem everyone wanted gone. It was late one of those long evenings where the terminal lights feel too bright and everyone's patience is already gone. Kids crying, people snapping at staff, that constant robotic voice announcing delays no one listens to anymore. I'd been traveling since dawn. Blazer wrinkled just enough to show I was human, not sloppy, not perfect either. My credentials were in my bag. My confidence was where it always is. Steady, earned quiet. I walked up to the restricted corridor like I'd done hundreds of times before. No rush, no attitude, just muscle memory. And that's when the voice came from behind me. "Hey, you can't be back there." I turned slowly. Middle-aged supervisor type. Cheap tie, tired eyes, badge clipped just a little too proudly to his belt. The kind of guy who mistakes routine for authority. "I'm authorized," I said, calm. "I'm with operations." He smiled, but not friendly, more like amused. "Operations, huh?" He looked me up and down. "Yeah, I don't think so." That look, I knew it. That half-second pause where they decide who you are before you open your mouth. "I can show you my ID," I said. He waved his hand. "Save it. We get people like you all the time. People like you." That's when I felt it. That familiar mix of annoyance and exhaustion. Not anger yet, just that internal sigh like, here we go again. I explained slowly, clearly, that I was there to perform an internal compliance review. That my arrival wasn't announced on purpose, that he needed to call his manager if he had doubts. Instead, he crossed his arms, physically blocked the hallway. "Ma'am, you're not stepping back there. If you don't move along, I'll have security escort you out." Security. Around us, people started noticing. A couple phones came out. Someone whispered. Someone laughed. I caught my reflection in the glass wall. Calm face, straight posture, eyes locked. I knew the rules. Lose control, and you lose credibility. So I nodded. "Okay," I said. "Let's call security." He blinked. Didn't expect that. Security arrived fast. Too fast. 2 officers, one young one older. The older one spoke first. "What seems to be the issue, she's trying to access a restricted area," the supervisor said immediately. "Claims she's with ops, refuses to leave." I corrected him. I didn't refuse, I requested verification. The older officer looked at me. His eyes lingered. Not rude, just cautious. "Ma'am, do you have ID?" I handed it over. Corporate badge, government clearance, everything clean. He examined it. The younger officer leaned in. "This checks out," the younger one said quietly. The supervisor scoffed. "Those things are easy to fake. Look, we're already behind schedule. Just remove her." That's when something shifted. The older officer looked at him. Really looked. "Sir," he said, "let's slow down." I took a breath. "If I leave this terminal," I said, voice low, "multiple operations get shut down tonight. That's not a threat. That's a fact." Silence. The supervisor laughed nervously. "You hear that? She's threatening us now." I shook my head. "No, I'm warning you." They called upstairs. Someone higher. Then someone higher than that. I waited. Still. Hands folded. People staring. The supervisor pacing like a trapped animal. When the call came back, it was different. The tone. The volume. I couldn't hear the words, but I saw the color drain from his face. He handed the phone to me with shaking hands. "Miss Reed," the voice said on the other end, tight and controlled. "Where exactly are you standing right now?" "Checkpoint C," I replied, being blocked. A pause. Then, "Do not move, we're on our way." That's when the supervisor started sweating. He stammered something about a misunderstanding about procedures, about how he was just doing his job. 5 minutes later, the director arrived. Then legal. Then HR. Suddenly, the hallway was crowded with people who definitely recognized my badge. They apologized. Quietly. Quickly. Tried to move things along. I stopped them. "No," I said. "Not yet." I turned to the supervisor. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "You didn't question my credentials," I said calmly. "You questioned my presence. There's a difference." He mumbled something about policy. "And you," I said, "turning to security were one decision away from escorting the wrong person out of a secured area based on someone else's bias." No one spoke. That was the moment. The pivot. The room changed. Because this wasn't just about me anymore. It never is. It's about every person who gets dismissed before they get checked. The review that night uncovered more than anyone expected. Shortcuts. Favoritism. People promoted because they were familiar, not qualified. Complaints buried because they were inconvenient. By morning, 3 managers were suspended. 1 resigned by noon. Policies were rewritten. Training mandated. Names documented. And the supervisor, he was reassigned pending investigation. Not fired. Not yet. That part matters. A week later, I got an email. Anonymous. 1 line. "I didn't know I was allowed to speak up until I saw you stand there and not move." That hit harder than any apology. Here's the thing people don't like to talk about. Most injustice isn't loud. It's casual. It's someone deciding you're not worth the extra 30 seconds to verify. It's a shortcut wrapped in confidence. I didn't raise my voice that night. I didn't threaten. I didn't perform. I just stayed. And that's uncomfortable for people who expect you to leave. So I want to ask you something. Honestly, if you were standing there watching that play out, who would you have believed? The person with the louder voice or the person with the paperwork they never bothered to read? Drop it in the comments. Was it procedure or was it prejudice? And how many times have you seen the same thing happen without anyone stopping it?